Hi, thank you for watching Dig Into China. I'm Dong Sheng. If you have not done so already, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much. Today, I'll primarily discuss the consumer trends in China and touch upon the country's economic landscape as well. The Chinese New Year has concluded, and the consumption data for the holiday period is now available. Per capita travel expenditure during the Chinese New Year holiday reached 1,334.8 yuan, bouncing back to 90.5% of the same period in 2019. This information has been extensively covered by domestic media, indicating a recovery in the Chinese economy and a noticeable uptick in consumer spending. However, it's challenging to definitively conclude whether the situation is exactly as portrayed. To begin with, the current status only signifies a restoration to 90% of the levels observed in 2019. Additionally, this data fails to encompass some substantial expenditures in China, including fixed assets, real estate, automobiles, smartphones, and other significant items. The genuine impetus for the economy hinges on major purchases as they wield a pivotal influence. During the Chinese New Year, the majority of purchases might revolve around the clothing, shoes, and festive goods, falling into the category of both consumption and essential life necessities. Looking at it from another perspective, even if domestic demand makes a comeback, what about external demand? China's current production capacity can cater to global consumption, but many countries worldwide are now refusing imports from China. Particularly, developed nations are consistently reducing their reliance on Chinese imported goods, delivering unwelcome news for China. With an excess of production capacity and a surplus of goods, the inability to sell these products internationally may lead to the closure of numerous Chinese businesses, escalating the risk of unemployment in China. Nevertheless, China's attempt to clear its surplus comes with significant repercussions. It will undeniably have a profound impact on global commodity prices and can seriously disrupt global production capacity and industries. The United States, with its own set of industries, would face challenges if China attempts to flood the market with its surplus. In recent days, the US government has started to pay attention to the trend of China dumping products globally, and the response from US officials has been notably firm. Jay Shambaugh, the Deputy Secretary of the Treasury for International Affairs, expressed concerns to the Financial Times, saying, "We are worried that Chinese industrial support policies and macro policies that are more focused on supply rather than thinking about where the demand will come from are both careening towards a situation where overcapacity in China is going to wind up hitting world markets." Shambaugh also serves as the head of one of the two U.S.-China working groups established by U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen after a visit to China in July of the previous year. The purpose of the group is to provide a forum to discuss challenging issues like overcapacity to ease tensions. On February 5th and 6th this year, Shambaugh led a U.S. delegation in Beijing for the third meeting of the U.S.-China Economic Working Group and met with Chinese Vice Premier and the Chinese lead official for the China-U.S. Economic and Trade Agreement, He Lifeng. On February 6, at that time, Chinese state media reported that China expressed concerns about U.S. tariffs on China, restrictions on two-way investments, and sanctions against Chinese enterprises. Both sides agreed to continue communication. Shambaugh said he had stressed it was not just the U.S. that was concerned and that China should not see any U.S. or other responses as being out of the blue. He stated, "The rest of the world is going to respond, and they are not doing it in a new anti-China way. They are responding to Chinese policy." The EU shares similar concerns about potential dumping from China and has initiated measures in response. Specifically in the electric vehicle sector, the EU has imposed trade barriers against China. Without strengthening these barriers, the EU's domestic automotive industry might experience a substantial impact from China's export of electric vehicles. Elon Musk stated last year that if global trade barriers aren't established, China's electric vehicles could disrupt the worldwide electric vehicle industry, potentially causing bankruptcies in various industries and companies across many countries. China's manufacturing sector has flourished at the cost of high pollution and a disregard for human rights. Whether it's the United States, Europe, or Japan, any industry is incapable of withstanding China's aggressive competition. China enjoys remarkably low costs due to its advantages in human rights violations and environmental pollution, aspects that other nations cannot emulate. Consequently, the only viable approach is to restrict its export to prevent dumping. This, in my view, constitutes a significant setback for China's industries. Currently, in the realm of politics, economics, and trade, countries globally are adopting precautionary measures and distancing themselves from China, isolating the nation. Recently, a video analysis of the current state of the Chinese economy by the renowned economist Gelon circulated within Chinese online communities but was swiftly removed. The video originated from Gelon's Weibo channel, Talking Stocks, Discussing Gold, Talking About Everything, where he began by emphasizing the possibility of China's economy genuinely transforming into an island economy and being compelled to prioritize internal circulation. This shift is due to several key indicators in China's current external circulation essentially resetting to zero. In the video, Gelon highlighted the three resets to zero phenomenon in China's external economic circulation, urging the public to remain highly vigilant and avoid becoming unwitting victims. What are the specific three resets to zero? Initially, there is the phenomenon of people resets to zero. Gelon highlighted that in the first quarter of 2019, before the widespread outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic, the number of people traveling from overseas to China exceeded 3.7 million. However, in the first quarter of 2023, the data dwindled to only around 52,000 people, not even reaching a fraction of the 2019 count. Among those 52,000 inbound tourists, 56% were from Hong Kong and 22% were from Macau, indicating that the actual number of true foreigners from other countries was approximately only 10,000. He believes that this suggests China could be returning to a state of isolation, reminiscent of the 1970s when there was little or no interest from foreign visitors. However, he points out the distinction this time is that it's not that we are preventing others from coming, it's that others are opting not to come on their own accord. He commented, "While we often concern ourselves with foreign capital withdrawal, what's more profound is that foreign customers and businesses are just not coming anymore. They are choosing destinations like Mexico, Vietnam, India, Indonesia." The second point is the commercial flights reset to zero. Before the pandemic, there were more than 3,800 flights per month between China and the United States, averaging over 100 flights per day. Presently, there are merely 4 to 6 direct flights between China and the United States each day, essentially approaching zero. Gelon specifically highlighted that over the past 70 years, 70% of China's trade surplus in total foreign trade originated from the United States. He urged everyone to reflect on the significance of having only 4 to 6 daily flights between China and the United States in the current global context, which lacks war or pandemic. The third aspect is the money resets to zero. He stated that in the first quarter of 2022, foreign direct investment in China reached $101.2 billion. However, in the second quarter of 2023, foreign direct investment dwindled to a mere $4.9 billion, marking the lowest point since the Southeast Asian financial crisis in 1998. Another set of data indicates that in 2023, China only completed the fundraising for 8 foreign currency funds, whereas during the same period in 2022, there were 114 funds, and in 2021, there were 792 funds. As of the first half of 2023, private equity funds concentrating on China only secured $1.4 billion. This amount, compared to the nearly $50 billion in the first half of 2021, has essentially approached zero. Gelon asserts that the essential components for economic development, namely the movement of the people, goods, and the funds, are undergoing contraction, as indicated by the key data in the external circulation. If this decline is attributed to the pandemic, there might be room for correction and adjustment. However, if it stems from trade conflicts and political tensions, it suggests a structural reversal in China's economy, pointing to a prolonged shift in trends. This could pose a significant challenge that our generation may find difficult to bear. He underscores that China has been a major beneficiary of globalization in recent decades, with over 60% of its production capacity serving external markets. If China adopts a path of internal and external isolation, reverting to an island economy, the potential consequences are dire. Without fundamental changes, he warns that we will incur significant losses that are challenging to recover from. As of now, Gelon's Weibo account has been completely cleared of content. In my view, Gelon's remarks remain rather implicit given his current location in China. To put it plainly, it signifies that China's political and diplomatic relations are evolving into a full-fledged hostility with the West and on a broader scale with global civilization. This development has resulted in a swift decline and a recession in China's economy. China is now grappling with an unbearable weight, suggesting that the economic outlook for the next 2 to 3 decades is bleak. It's just the initial phase, and the darkest era may be yet to unfold. Thank you for watching. Please leave a comment and subscribe to my channel. Just click the subscribe button right here. I'll see you again shortly. Until then, be well.